whole time as you've been talking. I would love to hear your, what's this looking like from your perspective?
So thank you for that. Regarding Senegal, for instance, we have a similar system. I had the pleasure to work with Saint Louis Protected Marine Areas, which is at the north of Senegal, between Senegal and Mauritania, and that's a UNESCO heritage site. So we had to work on the way that they were literally affected by a breach that they opened in 2003, which is something really famous, I mean, for ocean scientists, and they were really struggling with the new marine intrusion, and they were really bothered by the way, yes, they are supposed to navigate, especially during the swell season. On that Atlantic facade of West Africa, usually between December and late March, early April, we can expect swells reaching 3.5 meters and beyond. And that's really hard to manage in that situation. So they have another system to be able to capture what's the best moment to ride boat, to go to sea, like the one they have in Ghana. And I was also really happy to collaborate with them when it comes to swell energy, because swell used to break literally some boats. And we use that information that I couple with some ocean data related to wave climate to be able to connect it to wave energy, to model it during normal season, but also during the winter season, the extremes that we have. Recently published a paper in relation with ENSO, so El Niño that you were talking about, and we found that ENSO also plays a role in that, which is less strong than on your side. But on the Atlantic facade, it's something that we call Atlantic ENSO, which is gaining a huge impact when it comes to swell height and swell direction. And based on that, it can literally amplify the energy that is hitting the shore. And that's something that is being developed at CoastGIS to see how we can develop some kind of early warning systems. That's the first, example I can mention. When it comes to Cabo Verde, that's something really, related to gender inclusion. On Santiago, Ilha de Santiago, there's a small locality called Ribeira do Barca, and then women are literally extracting sand to be able to resell it for construction purposes. So the idea there was to show them to which extent bathymetric changes, so water depth was changing, and how it's affecting the ecosystem. But from that point of view, we could discuss with them, but also find a way to see how we can have more sustainable alternatives for them. Because yes, they earn money from it, and we need to find a solution to balance ocean conservation and so on.
Right.
And I think another key point is also youth training and capacity development in those fields. And through gender and generation for STEM, we're also raising the voice when it comes to girls' commitment to continue in STEM, but if they can also come to ocean tech to be able to design local solutions for themselves. And then some were interested, and we developed another program that offered a more tailored hands-on experience where they had to receive, of course, theoretical knowledge based on ocean science, geochemistry, how it can be used to monitor coastal and marine changes. And we had to involve professors in Senegal and even the parents, and they had the opportunity to go to the field, prepare their own field work, process that in my lab, and they were really happy in the end. And I think that's another way to also involve them in making sure that beyond just giving theoretical framework and theoretical knowledge, they can also apply it, analyze it, comment it, and present it. I think that's a nice way to also build that knowledge economy and an inclusive human capital in ocean science.
Love it. I think we have to throw it to the discussions in a second, but maybe I'll give the last question to Xavier.
So thank you very much for your contribution. To jump on what Kwame said, I think I completely validate. For instance, if you took our region for West Africa, from Mauritania to Nigeria, you won't find any buoy, unfortunately. So we're mainly using ESA data, so the Copernicus imagery that they're producing, and trying to find out how we can extract that within a specific point. And regarding your point about cooperation and the way we should build that global partnership, I think that's super important what you said, and I'm also part of the UN Ocean Decade Advisory Board. Happy to welcome you for that, to multiply the impact, especially when it comes to youth and diversity. And regarding the last point that you're also mentioning, when it comes to motherhood, I'm very sensitive to that. I think we're all children of ocean, yes, but this is something really important when it comes to value the traditional knowledge that we have in our respective countries and find a way to connect that with science. I think that's really important. Coastal communities have some knowledge, traditional knowledge. Some people call it indigenous. I don't like too much that term. And that's a huge gap that we have right now. And we could value it, protect it, and build and reinforce the knowledge on oceans we actually have. Thank you.